Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to learn how to create timelines or sequences for all of our footage so that we can start editing in our next unit. So for logging, we've been using this assembly view. So now I want you to change over and go to the editing view. I'm going to pull this up. All of these windows are customizable. You can move them as needed. So you can see here on my project panel that, all of my log notes are gone. Don't worry, they're still there. You'll remember that before we started logging, we had to scroll over and drag that log note over. So if you just scroll over, you can see the log note is in the original place because that was in the assembly view, and now we are doing the editing view. So they're also right there. Just so you know, I think that the technical term for what we're about to do is we're about to create new sequences for our timeline. However, I just want you to know that when I speak about a sequence or a timeline, I use the terms interchangeably. They're pretty much one and the same. So just know that there's no difference whether I'm talking about a sequence or a timeline. So to create a new sequence, make sure that your project panel is selected right here, and you push Command N. So that's going to pop up this new window right here. So what we want to do is we want to just look at our settings. The preset and the default is to set your timeline for footage that was shot from a digital SLR camera or a DSLR shot in 1080p at 24 frames per second. Some companies are going to really care what these settings are set to, and some won't. And so the companies that don't care just set it to the default. Companies that do care, they're going to tell you what they want. And so this is where you change those things. Of all the companies that I've ever edited for, the only thing that they really care that much about is the frame rate. And some of them want to do a more widescreen version. And so then we'll change this vertical number. But besides that, you're not really going to need to change a whole lot in this little window. But I don't want you to be scared of it. I was really scared of this window for a long time. I didn't understand what any of these things meant. I didn't know how to change it or like what to do when it popped up. But don't be afraid of it. It just is your settings. And most of this, most of these you're never going to need to adjust. But I want to just look at the settings and look at this just in case for future clients or for future projects, you need to change these settings. So let's keep it on 24 frames per second for a DSLR camera. But let's look here. So editing mode with the DSLR 24, you can change the frame rate right here. The frame size is going to affect the final video. So let's say, this is going to be like a standard video, like my video is right here, about that size. But let's say you want something that is widescreen. What you're going to do is you're going to change. So right now it's set, the horizontal frame rate is 1920. The vertical is set to 1080. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to 800. And then let's just name this as a widescreen. And okay, so that's going to give us this cool thing right here. So I'm just going to drag and drop this so that you can see. Okay, so when this window pops up, that means that Premiere thinks that your footage is not going to fit well into this sequence or into this timeline. Changing your sequences settings will set them according to what your footage is. Keeping existing settings is keeping the settings that we've already established in that little pop-up. So right now I'm going to keep my existing settings. So you can see my original clip looks like this. Now on my timeline, it is more of a widescreen look. Once you are really comfortable editing, we can talk more about widescreen. So that's not something that we're going to do right now. But if your client needs you to change the settings of a sequence so that the video is widescreen, or let me show you what else we can do. Let's create a new one. And then my settings, I'm going to go, so this is 1920. I'm going to set this one to 1920 also. So you can see here that sets a ratio of 1:1. So let's see what this is like. Oh, okay, I'll tell you. It's a box. So if you need to edit something for Instagram, you want it to fit nicely into your square of Instagram, this is a great way to do that. Ooh, so you can see that by not changing the settings, now we have this box. So again, I'll go over how to do that in a future lesson, but for right now, we're just gonna keep the settings. So again, do Command N and create a new sequence. I'm gonna just keep all of these preset settings, and I'm gonna name this Baker Ceremony. The reason that I'm naming it Baker Ceremony is because it's the ceremony, so I need to make sure that that has it in the title. But I'm naming it Baker because that's what my client named the project when they sent it to me. If my client, the company who I'm editing for, had named this project Natalie and Colby 1127, then I would name this new sequence Natalie and Colby 1127 Ceremony. So then you just click OK, and then we have our ceremony right there. So we want to go ahead and do all of our sequences at the same time, just so that you're not going back and having to check like, oh, what did this client get? What are they ordering? What are they, what are their final deliverables? You just know they're getting their ceremony, they're getting their toasts, and they're getting their first dances and their parent dances and the highlight. So then we have the toasts. This is just going to save you time later if you do it first. Baker ceremony. So we have the ceremony, we have the toasts, and then we have dances. So ceremony, toasts, and dances are all going to be their own video. So they all get their own timeline. However, there are other parts of the day that I need to edit. I need to put at least 2 different video lines and an audio line together and cut back and forth and colorize and do all those things. But the couple is not going to get those things in full as a video. For example, their cake cutting, their first look, their grand entrance, things like that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to name this sequence Baker Miscellaneous. And so the miscellaneous is just for all of those other things, other parts of the day that need to be put together and need to be edited back and forth in real time, but that the couple is not getting delivered to them when the project is done. So then we want to do Baker Highlight. That's going to be our creative edit. Bearer. I'm really bad at typing with one hand. Okay, so that is going to be it. So we have our ceremony, our dances, our highlight, our miscellaneous, and our toasts timelines ready to lay out footage, ready to go. You can see that once I open them over here, once I double click on them, they will actually open over here in the timeline portion of Adobe, and you can go back and forth between them. So obviously right now they are all just blank, so you can't see a difference, but you can see the one that's selected is underlined. You can put these in different order if you want. I like the ceremony to be first, and then the dances, and then maybe I'll put the highlight at the beginning, but it doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. If you want to close this, it's just closing it. It doesn't delete it. It's still over here safe. It just means it's not open for you to watch right now. All right, so now that all of our sequences are set and ready to go, we are ready for Unit 4 to start laying out our ceremony. Your action item for this lesson is to create sequences for your Baker ceremony, Baker toasts, the Baker dances, the miscellaneous, and the Baker highlight.